Okay, I'm Kirsty Bunting. I'm a senior lecturer here at MMU Cheshire, and I teach on a range of English units, including the third year unit, the novel, which we're going to talk about today. And today I ran a session on collaboration in the 19th century, and we started the session with an ice-breaking activity, just to get people writing and thinking about co-authorship. There was a small lecture element, and finally some group working activities. Well, today I set them some group working tasks where they have to split off into groups of 5 students, and each one in turn will write a very short bit of fiction, each one building on the bit of fiction before, so it turns into a narrative, a kind of round robin style of writing. I think it's important for English literature students to be interactive, to be creative and imaginative, even in a lecture space, because of course that's what they're studying. They're developing their imaginative, interpretive reading skills, and so to bring out the best in those skills, you need to do it in a shared way, I think, doing group work, talking, interacting. They're learning actively instead of passively, so perhaps they're not even particularly aware that learning process is quite so influential. It's having so much impact because they're enjoying it, they're talking, they're sharing, and they're really participating in their own learning. They're not just sitting there being given the information, absorbing it. They're creating it. I suppose when I'm planning a long lecture session, for example, today's session was almost 2 hours long, so I know I'm going to break it up, starting with something to warm them up, to get them into the topic. Then there might be a standalone lecture, information giving kind of section, but I'll always try and add something a bit more adventurous where they can contribute, and it breaks up that session. Otherwise it's too long and it's overwhelming for them. So when I'm planning a session, I'm always aware of that. I don't want them to get bored either. I want them to enjoy it all the way through. I tend to set these kind of collaborative tasks later on in the term or later in their degrees, where they know each other well, where the ice is broken and they trust each other. Otherwise, you can leave them open to be a bit vulnerable or a bit left out. So, for example, today's group worked really well together because they know each other well. But I'm trying to get everybody in their little collaborative groups involved. So I'll pair up a very shy student with the most confident ones, get the groups to move around so they're never just paired with one chunk of friends, that they're always working with other groups. But I tend to find, in fact, that students don't need a lot of encouragement to work collaboratively. That they want to hear each other's voices and share ideas, and often the very shyest, quietest, most reticent person in the group will really flourish in that moment where they're just left to talk with their peers. I suppose when I'm setting up a kind of group task, a collaborative working task, I'll tell them right at the beginning so that they know what the destination point is, what it exactly is that I want out of that. So they know the process, they understand exactly what they need to deliver. I think you have to give them all the tools, set the framework out before they start. I think they all left today's session, I hope they left, having felt that they'd achieved all the things that I asked them to do. I think you can see that when you look at the group work sheets that they all produced. We've got some tangible evidence that they did work within that framework. And the fact that they're all happy and smiling, I think, shows that they understood the benefits of working in that group. There were no quiet ones, no sluggish ones. I must say, since I started trying to introduce more creative elements into my workshops and lectures, I've enjoyed the process a lot, and I've learned a lot because of what I've done is I've trusted the students to give me back, to return, to speak up and to contribute. And I think as long as I set up the space that they need, I enable them to do that, then they give it back. And I've learned a lot from them. For example, today they were coming up with lots of interesting ideas about collaboration and are really interesting and pertinent to my own research. So when I teach that kind of creative element, it has to be collaborative. It has to be a shared process. That's what I love about it.
Well, in Kirsty's lesson, she's often incorporated quite a few interactive parts in her lessons, and I find it engages you better, and she'll sort of try and get you involved and get you talking to other people, and I don't know, just keeps your brain active and you get more engaged with the text.
Well, I think for a 9 o'clock lecture,
it's very refreshing.
You need to sort of get involved with other people, and I think it's great. I mean, I've met so many new friends doing this sort of interactive thing, and I think we need it, definitely, from, you know, just watching a presentation for 2 hours, but the way Kirsty does it, it's, like you said, refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it means you can get more ideas and more inspiration from others, so you're not just listening to a single voice via lecture, you're hearing from everyone in your class.
You can find more films and podcasts on our website. Go to celt.mmu.ac.uk/good practice. Thanks for watching.